You're watching KC Cat Tonight. Stay tuned for the premiere of Behind the Scenes. But first, JJ has an exclusive interview with the director, Nathaniel Paul.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to KC Cat Tonight. My name is JJ, and I'm here with the director, creator, writer, producer, all the above of the film you're about to see, Behind the Scenes, Mr. Nathaniel Paul. Sir, how are you doing?
I am doing good.
It's great to have you here. We're super excited to watch your movie, and figured we'd just kind of start this off with asking you a few questions, find out a little bit more about the film we're going to see. No spoilers, obviously, but we do want to get a little more insight into maybe how your mind works, what to expect, and I've seen it. It's awesome. You're in for a treat, for real, and I totally mean that. So I guess to start out with, what can you tell us about the film?
Behind the Scenes is about a director trying to make his out-of-pocket passion indie movie where everything goes wrong.
Okay. And is this like, does this have any kind of like personal relevance as far as you being an independent filmmaker?
Yes. A lot of what you're going to see in this movie is based off of actual stuff that has happened to me, making and crewing on films over the years. So,
having seen it, that definitely puts a lot into like, I'm sorry, man. We'll just say that. Because man, it's a ride, and it's understandable, especially, you know, like it really feels like something that could actually happen, and it's pretty dang impressive to see what you've done in there. Were there any specific, other than outside of that, like what made you decide to want to put this into a like film format and kind of tell this story?
It's cheaper than therapy.
Touche.
I think that all of us who go trying to make our own movies, we experience every time. I don't think there's anybody ever films a movie in which something doesn't go wrong, and hopefully, best case scenario, something doesn't affect the final product. But it's just, in fact, usually a lot of times on stuff I've crewed and stuff goes wrong to a part where it doesn't even come out. Sure. So it's a lot of making movies is about dealing with failure and overcoming obstacles.
I would imagine on some level that also comes along with like you have to learn to let things go, because there's got to be tons of like material and stuff that you've had to cut because of those reasons where you're just like, I really wish I could have put this in there.
There's always two movies, I believe. The movie that you see in your head when you write the script, and then the movie that you actually watch in the editing booth.
Man, it always makes me think of like what could have been, even with like some of my favorite movies that, you know, I love to watch over and over again. Like, what did they really want to do? You know, that's kind of cool to think about. And this is a great representation of everything you're talking about. So, as far as like the cast and even the crew that you had on there, is everybody local to Kansas City?
Actually, everybody is from the Kansas community around here.
That's cool. And where typically, just out of curiosity, where do you typically like find the talent from?
I go on Facebook. There is the Actors and Filmmakers of Kansas City, and that is the biggest one. And there is a bunch of other groups. And sometimes they can come in from a recommendation from an actor that you've picked.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's actors everywhere. This is a great town for actors. There's a huge thing there's that Renaissance Fair that's full of tons of people.
Yeah.
There's all these plays going on. I think Kansas is a great place to pull actors from.
Well, I mean, it definitely shows, because it's the acting. Honestly, was like one of my favorite aspects. Before I had seen it, I had another friend of mine who got me the link to be able to watch it. He asked me, he goes, "You might know some of these people because they're from Kansas City and stuff." And as I watched it, I'm like, I don't recognize any of these people, and I would have thought that like at some point it's like all these people seem like they've done this before. Like it just seems so professionally done. Even though the whole movie is about being super unprofessional and like not unprofessional. That's the wrong word, but like running into things that are out of your control, and like, how do I adapt to what the hell just happened, and that kind of thing. And it's comedic, and it's great, and just the way everybody played off of each other and the way everything is written is so well done. And like I said 1,000 times already, you're really going to enjoy it. How does this compare to some of the other works that you've done?
This is my very first feature, so I've done web series and I've done shorts, but I've never done anything that's been over 50 minutes in one video. So this is the first time I did a feature length thing, and this is the second thing I filmed in Kansas. So
Oh, cool.
I did a little short beforehand to like test the water. So this is my first time, for most of those people, this is my first time working with them.
Yeah.
And it was actually, ironically, it was a great time filming that movie. So
Okay. So are you from Kansas City then?
I am from St. Louis.
Okay. All right. But do you live in the area now?
Right now I live in Overland Park. So
Okay. Oh, that's crazy. Okay. Interesting. Wow. All right. Cool. As far as like, I know this this might be a little bit ironic given the content of the film and how we talked about how there are some connections to things you've gone through in real life. What kind of advice would you give somebody looking to not run into some of the things that happened in this film if they were going to be an independent filmmaker on their own?
Advice? That is a great question. See, it always is going to be something you didn't plan for, though.
Sure.
But I would say really trust your intuition, meaning that a lot of people can give off red flags, and I would get together multiple times with your casting crew beforehand and make sure that you really trust these people.
Yeah.
Because you would want to avoid any problems coming from people and just keep it all to technical issues. So if you trust who you work with, so I would say follow your intuition, everyone you work with.
That's great. Okay. Well, it's good to know on that note that there are plenty of trustworthy people in Kansas City because that's who's in the film. Well, man, thank you so much for hanging out with us for a few minutes. We're super excited to get into it. I can't wait for more people to get to see your project, and hopefully we'll get some feedback and we'll go from there and hopefully see some more from you in the future.
All right, that sounds awesome.
Cool. All right. Well, on that note, we'll head right into it. Enjoy the film. It's a good one.